Hello, everyone. It's GT time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us, as always, is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including, for Brennan Jones, Ben Moore.
What's up?
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
In the super seat this week, Elise Willems.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And making this all happen, pushing the buttons in the booth, Ian Hink.
Hi.
I gave you so much time.
Yeah, I had the lowers in the wrong order. That's my fault.
Oh, bummer. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to have both Ben and Elise answer the super seat question this week because last rotation, Ben got kind of shafted. Here's the question for the super seats. Would you rather be a new Ninja Turtle or a new Power Ranger?
Take it away.
I misinterpreted the question at first. I thought you meant would we rather be in the TMNT reboot or the Power Rangers reboot, and I, of course, thought TMNT because Michael Bay. I'd love to have him scream at me on set.
Yeah.
But to choose, I'd like to be a female gender swap Casey Jones.
Okay. So you're joining the team as
a female Casey Jones.
Okay.
Casey, like Kaycee.
So you're changing your name.
I think you could actually spell it the same.
Yeah, Casey's
No,
already.
I can, but I'm cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm like a cooler, like hip, like
should just
millennial.
be the letters.
I'm like a millennial
K and
version
C. Sure.
of Casey Jones.
Are you kicking old Casey out?
I mean, maybe it's male April O'Neil.
Okay, so I'm not sure we can also make more new characters for you. This is really just you joining the established team.
Abe O'Neil.
Ben is going to be...
So hold on, you're making Ben come into your scenario?
Wait a minute.
April O'Neil.
Yeah.
Ben, are you okay with that?
No.
Ben,
Wait,
I've got an awesome baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around the top. It's awesome. And my hockey stick.
I want to be a Power Ranger, though. I'm sorry.
Explain why you want to be a Power Ranger.
I want to be a Power Ranger. I want to be part of the original Power Rangers team because it would return to a time in my life that I desperately want back.
Sure.
Okay, I was an impressionable young first grader, and like the reason I liked Power Rangers is the way I wish I could like everything. The only reason I liked Power Rangers is because I'm like, yo, they're fighting monsters. There's a face in a tube. They have a robot that can combine with other robots to form an even bigger robot. Like, it was just simple and pure joy. Like, I didn't need a reason. Like, it was just exciting. I just liked watching these silly characters fight each other, and I want to feel like that all the time.
That was a great answer. I don't think we can rob Ben of that.
I'll see you in the crossover, homie, because they've crossed over before.
Absolutely they have.
So I'll see
They
you
have.
there.
I actually did not know that they crossed over.
Yeah, in I think original series.
Can I
there's
be
crossover.
a male April O'Neil that is a Power Ranger? Can we have the best of both worlds?
I'm afraid we can't.
Absolutely.
No, I'm afraid I can't bend the rules like that.
100% Ben.
This is a
See you
real
there.
this is a real OR situation. I
Okay.
can't bend the rules like that for you, Ben.
Hey, we know how it really is.
Thank you so much for humoring me.
We'll talk
you two.
after the show.
We'll move on to corrections. Begin corrections music, please. We got a lot of corrections this week. Let's just get settled in. This is everybody's favorite part of the show, too.
How many of these have to do with you just
This
pulling
music.
corrections without actually looking them up?
Not many.
Kill me now.
I get a lot of tweets every week that are about just like, dude, love the show GT time. I always stop after corrections because it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, your YouTube retention must just be.
It's a
short hill to begin with.
It spikes when corrections
low
start
hill.
and then just crash right after
That
corrections.
is like the most depressing comment.
All right, so
I feel like corrections
we're getting
could
those
just
clicks.
be in your YouTube description if you wanted.
to be honest,
love it,
I
don't
freaking
you?
love this.
Oh.
This isn't all right. So Call of Duty World at War had a 4-player campaign. Who knew?
I did.
It also had a multiplayer beta. That was another correction about World at War. Did you know that? Did you play the 4-player campaign?
Once.
I think that's
at
incredible.
work.
But haven't they been marketing it as a new thing? That's probably easy to get it mixed up because people say that kind of crap all the time.
There is a Raptor Zord. One exists, and it's from the most recent Power Rangers Dino Charge that was added this year. So that exists. There's also a Purple Ranger. Zords are not always animal themed. There's plenty of Zords that are not. There's cars. There was one that was all cars. Gran Turismo 6 did not have a track editor until last week. It is in fact only available on smart devices and nothing else.
Yeah,
Daniel Bloodworth.
I actually made that correction myself before anyone else.
Oh, during the show did you make that correction?
No.
Oh, okay. We can't rebrand game trailers as Party Blast because that's already a game that Nickelodeon made. Nickelodeon
bummer.
Party Blast.
Bummer.
They took it from us.
Yeah. Those vultures.
Some of the Gran Turismo Vision concept cars were actually made into real-life concept cars.
That's cool.
Yep. Oh boy, these two. We talked a lot about solid state drives on the PlayStation 4. Just hopping into a pool that we're not prepared to. Here we go. This is from Exus Systems. Exus Systems. In response to the correction about SSD versus HDD, the correction is actually incorrect. There is a substantial performance gain going to a SATA 2 SSD. The reason is because the SATA 2 interface is not the bottleneck of reading.
I think.
SATA is not the bottleneck of reading and writing data. The bottleneck stems from the latency of the HDD mechanism using a mechanical interface of seeking data on a physically rotating disk. Users of the PS4 will find a significant reduction in loading times by upgrading to an SSD. Okay, so then Marked One subs, spot on. In addition, the difference between an SSD fully utilizing SATA 3 bandwidth, a really fast one, and one using SATA 2 is really marginal considering everyday use, not benchmarks, compared to the jump from HDD to SSD. And as Exus Systems pointed out, the bottleneck of HDD is the latency, not bandwidth. For what it's worth, computer engineer here.
I love it. I love it when comments like high five each other. Like,
Oh, yeah.
this guy gets it.
Yeah,
and they
spot
form
on.
like this bond.
Zord
Yeah.
of like nerdiness and righteousness.
So now we know.
I am a computer engineer, and this guy gets it.
Get yourself an SSD, everybody. Finally, we talked about the Tony Hawk license, about how maybe they just had to make a new game to keep the license. Turns out this popped up in the news that it was from a press release from 2002 that it was about how Activision locked down Tony Hawk until 2015. So this was the year that license ended, that original contract ended. So it is very likely that Tony Hawk 5 happened as it has because it was simply the last year that Activision owned
Game
the
to
rights.
save the marriage.
I wouldn't call it
It
that.
happened because they don't want to pay for more rights. And like, all right, let's just get it over with.
Yeah, like we have these rights now. They're going away at the end of this year probably. Let's just put out this game.
Let's just put a nail in that coffin.
And they certainly did. They called it Tony Hawk 5. I can't believe, like, we'll be talking about this for ages. This is dirty deeds. Done dirt cheap.
Under cheap.
Okay, end corrections music. I wanted to share one last comment because we talked about the Wii Call of Duty games. This is from Corey Cooper, in parentheses, Metroid Freak 21. I was a part of that Wii U Call of Duty community. I loved
Wii U?
Wii Call of Duty community. I love the controls. They still are my favorite way to play an FPS. I still occasionally pop in Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3 because I rebought them about 2 weeks ago.
Nuts.
On Wii.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. People like truly like appreciate those controls.
I liked the Resident Evil 4 on the Wii better than on the GameCube.
You're right, I did too. And Metroid Prime.
Mm-hmm.
3. Like, the stupid Wii remote actually was good for first-person shooters. How weird is that?
It just took people a little time to nail it. Like Metroid nailed it, but a lot of people tried, and you had to like fine-tune things to make it feel right. But yeah, Call of Duty got there.
What a weird travesty that like the worst version of Call of Duty is also the best version. There's another book, all right. Let's move on to actual video game news. We're doing it. The podcast has begun. My favorite way to start a GT time is with a game announcement. And this week we had a big game announcement. Far Cry Primal has been announced live on YouTube. Is this game a big deal?
I didn't see the live announcement. I did see the GameSpot article and watched the trailer. I have mixed feelings about this.
What is it? What is Far Cry Primal?
It's like you're in the Ice Age and you're hunting mammoth and smilodons and things like that. And so it's weird because it's like it feels like it's trying to be somewhat accurate in a way historically, but like it's Far Cry. Like I don't understand like the normal attitude and everything that comes with Far Cry and the craziness and explosions. It's like now you have spears.
It seems to me very self-serious.
It does, which could hurt it because, like Bloodworth was saying, I was wondering how many, like, if they brought in any experts or historians to help them write this, like, prehistoric, I know they have their own language in the game, and it's like, well, is this actually based on a real language, or did you just, like, throw in some tribes saying gibberish. Personally, I'm not super into it. I think Horizon looks cooler than this.
I'm super confused about this announcement. I don't know what to make of it because when I heard all of these things, this sounds like, okay, it's maybe coming in the spring and it's going to be $20.
No, it's coming out the same day as Deus Ex.
Yeah.
It's coming out in February and it is a full-priced game. This is the next Far Cry game.
Do you think that there's like a main character that is a modern day douche bro that they just are keeping secret?
Oh, that would be
So
even
that you go
worse.
back with a shotgun or a laser or something, but they're just keeping that a secret.
I doubt it.
Yeah, they want full immersion. They want you to feel like you're out there in the wilderness.
Then that makes
Hunting
no
and
sense for
gathering.
this series.
I mean, I don't know. Ben,
There's always been a douche bro.
even from the first Far Cry?
This is
I would
this
not.
is
That's not how I would describe the first character.
prehistoric douche bro.
He's the same
Yeah.
voice actor as Adam Jensen. That guy's getting a lot of money on that.
Oh,
day.
really?
Yeah.
It's a big day.
Yeah. Ben, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about all this?
Sometimes I think I'm the only one in the world that's kind of optimistic about this. I think Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 are both really well-made games, but they're not really my thing. It's just, to me, it's like a bunch of checklists and climbing towers, and I just, it didn't really invigorate me. I've shot guns at things so many times that this restriction, like using these shoddy tools and fighting these enormous beasts, like it seems like such a different direction to me that it's exciting.
You're not fighting beasts. You're fighting woolly mammoths.
I would describe that as a beast.
No, it's
Yeah.
no, it's a real actual creature that existed on this planet that doesn't anymore.
My concern would be
still a
that
beast.
it seems like you're going to be taking down like all these beasts, like kind of like Horizon, but that you're actually just going to be fighting a lot of like indigenous tribes and stuff, which to me is not thrilling. I'm like, I don't really feel like just killing a bunch of
Right.
an indigenous population.
My thing is, if you are also an
I'm with
indigenous population,
Yes.
you're using the mammoths. If you use all the things like people at the time did,
All the parts.
Then it's cool.
and if you're fighting other guys that are just like you, then I mean, it's just like a historical thing.
I
Yeah.
predict cannibalism.
Whoa, that's a prediction. We got it.
That
Lock
goes
it in.
without
That's
saying,
interesting.
Bloodworth.
You think these guys, the enemies who wear the tinfoil masks, those are probably the cannibals?
Maybe not them in particular, but yeah, I feel like they'll do some cannibalism somewhere.
I feel like when you think about Far Cry, though, you can do so much. Like, you get so many tools, you get so many ways of transportation, that making that as restricted as possible in like this prehistoric time is exciting to me. You know, like I think games oftentimes are a lot more interesting when they make you make the best out of a poor situation. You know?
Tetris.
And maybe that's not what this game is. Maybe it's just a different skin for sort of the same old thing. I don't know. We really haven't seen all that much.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Like, it's cool when I can look like, if this was Far Cry 5 and you had another swanky, smarmy villain get on the trailer and deliver a rousing speech, you know, like, I would be checked out already. My eyes would glaze over. But I look at this and I start to think, like, what if it was like this? What if it's like this? And that's just inherently more interesting to me.
Ben, I truly appreciate your enthusiasm for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw a lot of comments where it's like, oh, this game only has 3 colors, and it's true. And it's just like, oh, this is not normal Far Cry. I just feel like there's a lot of pessimism around this.
It looks like we're getting some from Elise right now.
It's clearly capitalizing on the success of the Crudes. It's obvious.
No, actually, I do feel like this branches out in some ways kind of naturally from the systems and like, you know, you had the hunting mechanics and stuff in 3 and 4. And just like, you know, some of the most exciting moments is like, you know, you're in a gunfight, so like an animal comes out of nowhere.
Right.
And there's
Plus
also
the Jeeps. Good Jeeps.
Far Cry 3 has good Jeeps.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna have some good Jeeps in this one.
I do hope that they've done something a little better with the crafting system though. Like I didn't actually get into 4 that deeply, so I don't know how much they improved it there, but it was always weird to me. It was like, oh, to get a new wallet, I have to go out and kill a shark. Like, it was just like, that's what I need to do to get a bigger wallet.
Yeah, have
rather
you
than
never
just...
gotten a new wallet before, Blood? Come on. Also, real quick, because we've had this correction before, either 1 or 3 of you have your headphones on backwards.
No,
Yep.
not me. Not me.
Definitely me.
Then it was 3 of you.
Was I the only one?
No, because now
This is
yeah,
left
now
here.
it's
This is
correct.
right.
Yeah.
No, I didn't change mine.
We're all
though.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
Ben
it
had
was
them backwards, yeah.
I'm
poor,
sorry.
Poor Ben got called out for wearing headphones
I'm just always so
backwards.
happy not to be the fuck up.
So the rest of the news
So rarely
this week,
happens.
We got, man, here's what's going on this week. Here's our news this week. We got a lot of news about microtransactions, and you know that's one of my least favorite things to talk about.
So exciting.
So yeah, we're gonna blow through everything pretty fast, but every time we finish talking about a microtransaction story, we have another story to cleanse the palate
Oh,
in between.
this is good.
That's the theme of this week's episode.
You done good.
Can I also I'll introduce a new mechanic to this episode at some point, and I'm not going to tell you what it is.
He's gonna take off his pants.
I'm excited for it. I'm
Yeah,
excited for whatever you're
I
planning.
hope you'll like it.
Do not take off your pants.
I won't do that.
okay.
They're already off.
There's a shot on Ian, just in case you thought he was being serious. Anyway,
You can't see my pants
Metal Gear Solid 5
because
added
they're over there.
more microtransactions. And actually, I remember on this show, I remember when it was leaked that the microtransactions were in the game. We had a whole conversation about it. And so we didn't, when we actually learned that they are in the game, we didn't really talk about it. But this game has pretty nasty microtransactions. The one getting the headlines this week is that this game added insurance, that you can pay for insurance for your base. The bases basically, Ben, I guess I would describe them, forward operating bases, the FOBs, as just like it's a multiplayer mode of this game in which you can invade my base and I can protect my base and I can invade your base.
Yeah, but it's not just a battleground. I mean, the reason you make a forward operating base is it hurries things along. Like you get more materials and you can like speed up your processes. So like there's a single player incentive for engaging in this multiplayer thing.
So if I want a better sniper rifle, it would be advantageous for me to invest in a forward operating base.
Sort of. It like you can do it without that stuff. You
Yeah.
just want it faster.
Yeah.
So wait,
basically.
I'm confused. Do you have to opt into the forward operating base? Like right now, no one could go into my base and mess it up?
It actually happens
Right.
pretty deep into the game.
Okay.
There's that, but so they can't invade your mother base proper. They
Okay,
can
'cause
only
I've been worried about
invade
that.
and kidnap soldiers and materials that you put on the forward operating base.
A whole
It is not
separate base.
explained
Whole
very
separate
well.
base. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was mother base, and like
No.
this whole time I've been playing offline because I was like, I don't want people stealing my
Right.
guys.
So if you don't construct a forward operating base, you have nothing to worry about. But it also means you
Nice.
can't go invade other people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, but insurance does not cover nuclear weapons.
Yeah, it doesn't cover your nukes. It doesn't cover everything, but for the most part, if somebody invades your forward operating base and takes all of your stuff, it's no big deal.
And that applies if you get invaded multiple times.
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
That's a fantastic question. I don't know how many mother base coins translate to actual dollars. I didn't care enough to look into it. If it's 2 cents, it's too much.
This insurance completely compromises the whole point of this mode.
Right.
Like-
Please explain that.
Yeah, because the whole point of forward operating base, it's like, hey, do you want a boost? Do you want an advantage? Do you want to move things along? Cool, but you're putting yourself at risk. And if you want to construct this thing, you have to protect it. Or you have to be okay with the fact that things could go very bad. And this is like, just pay to not worry about any of that stuff. Like, that takes away all of the attention, the tension and all of the excitement of like, oh man, my base is getting invaded. I have to protect it. I have things that are valuable that are there. Now it'll just be like, oh yeah, I paid for insurance. Like whatever, it's fine.
I mean, do you
know?
mean paying with like in real life currency?
Yes.
Because you
Yeah.
can just pay with like you can earn
No,
the currency.
no,
I'm
you
pretty
can't.
sure it said you can earn the currency.
You can get
It's-
mother base coins
You
just
get 'em,
from
like,
playing the
randomly.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
But
like
you can't.
rewards.
There's nothing you can do in the game that is like, here you did this thing. Here are mother base coins. It's like
Right.
you logged into the game. Here are mother base coins. It's not something you can actively pursue.
But theoretically, you could protect your base with this insurance without spending a dime in real life.
Sort of, but they give you so few mother base coins randomly for free that it takes forever to get anything substantial with those login bonuses.
It is crazy. My question is, do you think all of this stuff, all of this forward operating base, all of these systems that were in place to enable microtransactions, do you think that affected the game design of Metal Gear Solid 5, the single player game?
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Like a gun taking 18 minutes to research for no reason? That's free to play. mentality.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that was in Peace Walker, but just it's in a real extreme in this game, I think, sometimes. Like, some things will take hours.
Right. I mean, it's just, I feel like in Peace Walker, yes, you were researching things, yes, you were building Zeke, but I feel like there are so many more things. Like, okay, now I have to, like, expand my base, and now I have to wait for materials to process, and it just seems so much more layered that the things you have to wait for are very intense, especially at the end of the game.
Would you call this game compromised?
I refer to your comment in the final bossman. You can see where the money ran out.
Yeah.
I loved the way you said that. You can see where they stopped making the game and started finishing the game.
Oh, boy. Yeah, depressing. You know what? That's enough. We don't have to talk about that game anymore.
Wait.
Okay, what is it?
I'm curious what Bizarro Bossman thinks of microtransactions in Metal Gear 5.
Okay, so this is a new segment that only viewers will appreciate, but we'll continue on with it anyway. Bizarro Bossman thinks that, look, Konami's struggling right now. Okay, we know that they're not sure they want to keep going on with AAA games. This is just a way for them to make more money, for them to be more convinced that the budget for Metal Gear Solid 5 was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what if some people are willing to give them some money? So what? They're just dummies anyway, so they're making money off these whales, and then all that money's coming in. You with me?
I think this guy's got a point.
Okay. That's Bizarro Bossman segment.
Yay.
Devil's advocate, I guess, is what that is. Okay, let's talk about anything else. GameStop is the exclusive U.S. retailer for Steam machines this year. There will be no other place to go to a store and buy a Steam machine other than GameStop in the U.S. this year.
So for the next 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, is that interesting? Is that inhibiting Steam machines, or do you think that's like Valve does not care? Where are we standing with this?
I think this is just them like throwing a bone and being like, yeah, we'll put them in retail somewhere, and they chose the largest distributor, but I don't know if this is necessarily their market even. Maybe they want to branch out into it, but they're going to get most of their sales online.
Yes.
Anyway, so
I think they're aware of that. I
they're
think
totally
you're so
aware
right.
of that.
Wasn't there also a recent announcement about GameStop putting like a Steam or digital like section in their stores now about like cards or something?
Yeah, you can buy cards too.
Yeah.
They've had
Purchase.
that. They've had that actually for quite a long time.
For a while. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe this is like them trying to inroads that a little more. Even.
The appeal is so funny. Play PC games from the comfort of your living room.
Yeah.
That's how they're selling. That's how GameStop has chosen to advertise Steam machines.
Is this the kind that needs to stream from a PC too?
No.
Okay,
That's
so
the
this is
Steam Link.
standalone?
Yeah. That's that $50 thing. That little $50 box.
I
That's a
can't
Steam
really
Link.
see it.
I feel like you can read into this in a really funny way.
Yeah.
Like if you're at home playing on your PC, you're uncomfortable. You're in pain. You're struggling
Yeah.
to enjoy those PC games.
Well, they don't
now
have
be
to, like-
comfortable.
They're not in your living room.
Right.
15 hours this week already.
And we already established on the show that you simply cannot plug your PC into your television in your living room. You can't do it. You simply can't. And now Steam Machine allows you finally to play PC games in your living room.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. I don't know that they're really throwing GameStop a bone so much as it's just like, who else cares? What, you're gonna do this in Target? Target's got enough stuff to worry about.
I mean, I think like we all like look down on it, but we all have kind of like really specific situations, right? But maybe there is somebody that says, you know, it's a teenage kid that their parents don't let them play games on the family PC or something. They want the processing power of a PC and the visuals of a PC game, and so then their parents are going to buy them this for Christmas. I don't know, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think these will
Like,
sell. I think Steam
I think
Machines
they
will
will
sell.
too.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I still want to mess around with that controller.
And look at
And-
that controller.
I think they'll get some of us too if we're just at the mall and we casually walk into a GameStop and we're like, oh, there's a Steam machine here. They have them in stock. Like,
I'm sorry, some of us, you mean the panel here?
Some of
You
us.
just drop
yeah.
$500 at GameStop.
Is that how much they are?
Is that the
That's a
lifestyle
cheap
you
one.
have?
maybe.
Where you just plop down 500 on a whim?
What? Maybe.
She's a rapper. She's got all kinds
Maybe.
of rap.
I know you have a ton of rap money, but even Jay-Z doesn't just put down $500 on a whim.
Oh, he totally does.
I've
Okay.
seen him
Yeah,
do it.
I bet Jay-Z totally does.
All right. Yeah.
You don't
he gets,
think
he gets like $5,000 of bottle service.
So yeah, it is
you
actually
don't
worth.
think Mad Money's gonna make a purchase like that?
I absolutely do not.
So for
I'm
listeners,
totally calling it
He's a new
Money
PC.
Mad Money is Ben apparently.
I think we should call him Mad Money from
I do
now
like
on.
that's a good nickname.
We already do.
So yeah, they start at
I'm so sad
450
about it.
and they go up from there. But yeah, they're not cheap. They're expensive. They're all more expensive
Yeah.
than an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4.
Totally.
And I think
But,
that's part of the weirdness. I mean, you could go to Best Buy and get a PC, but generally, like other places that sell PCs are like Staples and Office Depot. You know what I mean? It's like not a lot of places that you go in to buy a PC.
CompUSA, was that a place?
Don't buy computers
I
at
don't know
Staples.
what that is.
Right.
I feel like that's a bad idea.
But go ahead and
That's where Defy gets all its laptops.
ouch. So let's talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider, also adding microtransactions announced this week. They're very excited about it. Let me just explain to you what these are.
I missed this one.
We have cards. So there's you can go on the store, you can buy gold, silver, challenge, advantage, and wild packs. These are 5 card packs. At least one of these is going to be rare. And the way they work is there's holographic cards and non-holographic cards. Holographic cards are permanent. Non-holos, you burn them. Once you use it, that card is burned.
Okay, so that's kind of like Forza.
Yeah, they're called expedition cards. They are to be used only in modes outside of the single-player campaign.
What are the other modes?
So there's, as you can see in the graphic behind you, points modes that are added now. Basically, you can replay a level and add challenges to it with your cards, with your expedition cards, and then you can challenge your friends to do that same challenge that you just did with
Huh.
the same cards. They don't need the cards to play that your
I
challenge.
was telling the Deus Ex guys I'd like to kind of see something like that in Deus Ex, because the way we replayed the same level over and over,
Space.
not the cards thing, the challenge thing.
I don't know.
I don't want the cards thing, but
I would never make a challenge in Tomb Raider and then be like, Kyle, can you beat my challenge? I don't know, Blood.
yeah, no, it does feel weird for Tomb Raider, because I feel like the way I'm picturing this Tomb Raider is more like a Metroid game, and so it just weird. It feels weird to like break it up into like, oh, this is a level or something. Yeah.
It feels like something they had to add in that was forced upon them.
Because there's no multiplayer.
Like here's this single player game that we're really focusing on, and here are all the things it takes from the first game. We're really excited about it. Also, I guess there's a score attack mode where you can burn. It seems so like disconnected from
Yeah.
what you actually care about that it like somebody somewhere down the line was like, well, if we put in these cards.
I don't like cards in these games.
Right.
Like, it just feels like, especially when they're like blind packs and stuff, it just feels so money grab
Yeah.
that it's hilarious. Like even in Battlefront or those other games where it's like, oh, you can get these cards, and it's a little more structured in Battlefront, but like it's still just kind of like, like what is it? What is the RP here? What does this have to do with anything in this world?
RP's gone in this instance.
Right. It's ridiculous.
It's weird to me. I feel like this is going to be like Cross Your Old Man talk, but you know, when I was a kid, I would read game magazines, and it's like, if you do this ridiculous thing, you'll unlock this crazy outfit or this crazy joke weapon, and be like, oh, cool, this is something I want to work for. And then once I get it, I have it forever, and I can mess around with it.
Ostrich hammer.
Yeah, things like that.
The costumes in Silent Hill 3.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking of Resident Evil specifically, but you could do a dozen of different examples. I feel like we're approaching this new area where we're supposed to get excited about temporary things. And that just feels really wrong. Like, oh man, in Halo 5, I got this amazing sniper rifle that I can use in Warp Zone, or not Warp Zone, Warzone, and then it's gone. Oh man, I really want to get something like that again. Like, what a gross thing that is.
Yeah.
Sure,
You know?
yeah.
Like, they're trying to take away the pleasure of like getting something and achieving something. You can't achieve anything with these cards. It's just like feeding in your desire for more, and I think that's
Yeah.
weird.
Well, I mean, going back to the Forza example, you know, like at first, it was like, okay, the boosts were like, okay, whatever, you put a percentage up to my braking, I don't really care. But I was like, you know, at first I was like, oh, the challenge is, okay, this sounds kind of cool, you know, like I have to, you know, drive this certain way. But then some of them were like just the opposite of the boost. Where it was like, oh, you have to get through this race with 0.4% less braking, and like, what? Come on, that's
Get
just
those 0.4%.
That's not even worth it. Like, it's cooler if there's something more tied to it. But after a while, the whole system just became not interesting anymore. I just didn't care whether the cards were applied or not, and that doesn't use any real money. Like, beyond whether it used real money or not, the card systems just don't feel that engaging.
So yes. So the essential question is, at least I'll pose this to you: do you think this affected the single player game at all?
In terms of how they developed it?
Yeah.
I think it was a response to the lack of multiplayer.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know if it necessarily like affected what the final product of the single player mode resembles.
Wait,
That's what my hope is. You know what I
I
mean?
don't think it
I
does.
hope the game that they intended to make isn't changed at all by these stupid cards.
are there people out there clamoring for the return of Tomb Raider multiplayer?
I don't think so.
They're all, executives.
Lara Croft
Yeah.
Guardian Angels, maybe. But that's a whole other
That's a whole
show.
other. Oh my gosh, why would you introduce that now?
Me personally, like, I'm really excited to play this and I'm going to play it. But the way I think is a little bit more rational in that I know that I'm going to play through the story. I'm going to do some of the optional tombs.
Mhm.
And then there's so many other games and things that I want to do that I'm not going to.
You're never going to open one of these packs.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Is like they want people to be able to keep playing
Longevity
it and
of their
have,
games, yeah.
and have incentive to replay it.
Yeah.
Which is why, like I was saying, with Deus Ex, I think I would like a challenge mode, because when I went through that map,
No. Oh, that makes me so mad, Blood.
there was like so many different ways to approach that map
That's
with
the whole
different.
point.
But that's the thing though. It's like things that like I would have to play 20 hours building my character a different way in order to be able to do this.
That is the beauty of that.
Yeah.
And you just want to hop into a challenge room and get all that stuff I invested in.
No.
Yeah. That ain't right. You're taking all the beauty out of Deus Ex and Tomb Raider.
But I mean, being able to play it that way, the way that it was presented, it was actually, I mean, it was fun to be able to look at a level in a way that, like, I didn't even look at the level that way because I had a completely different loadout.
Yeah. That's the whole point of that game. You got to do a whole other playthrough if you want a different loadout.
But I think with a game that's that long, it would make sense that, like, after you've beaten it to have something like that.
No, that game is long, though. That game is substantial on its own. It doesn't need anything like that. Let us know in chat. Let us know how
I'm
you
just
feel.
saying, the way I played that level like 10 or 12 times, and still after that, I found places in that level I didn't even know were there.
That's yeah. That is what I like so much about it. Is that like there are things you will never see, and they're willing to make a game about things you will never see.
But if I were going, that's what I'm saying.
What
though.
does Bizarro Bossman think?
If I were going through that level,
We gotta
just
hear
on my
from Bizarro
own, my
Bossman.
own build, I would see like one of those.
Okay, is
many
Bizarro
paths.
Bossman this camera? Am I? That's that one right there.
The shorter one. yeah.
Okay. Bizarro Bossman. Look. It's going to be a huge exclusive for the Xbox. Tomb Raider, I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly.
That DLC is going to come on the PS4 for free.
No, yeah. And so, like, basically, Xbox gamers need an incentive to play this game. We're already getting trashed. We already know it's coming to PC in early 2016. That ain't right. So, basically, coming from a big fan of exclusives, I'm really stoked about these cards, and I'm going to challenge all my friends to super sick challenges using big head mode, bullet resistance mode, and any other crazy combinations of cards my twisted mind can come up with. Really excited about this feature. Can't wait to play Rise of the Tomb Raider exclusively on Xbox, Holiday 2015.
I feel like Bizarro Bosman's catchphrase should be like, "That is right," or
That is
something
right.
like that, like accurate.
Sure.
I love how Bizarro Bossman is the embodiment of all bad things currently present in video games.
I feel like we're just
Sure.
channeling Last Lavelle now. I don't know what Bizarro Bossman's different.
He's very different. Last Lavelle is more of a SoCal voice.
That was something I was thinking about. Do you think that DLC is going to be free for PS4 when it
Like the Baba
inevitably-
Yaga stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
the tomb
cards.
No. So
And,
there's
not
also the
not
season
card.
pass.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
season
I
pass
see,
that
I
includes
see.
like a tomb
Right.
and
Oh yeah, that'll probably be all there.
Yeah, you're probably right, Elise. That will probably definitely be free a year from now.
Because like the Dragon Age Inquisition just came out with everything included. Game
Yeah,
of the Year edition.
Game of the Year edition. You know what I didn't talk about? It was the Evolve Super Edition that's coming out was announced this week.
Oh.
It's so funny to me. Evolve with everything, $60. You could get that.
Now?
And on the box art, they're still celebrating their E3 awards.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh
no
my
one buy
gosh.
that. That game is
They're
not
only-
good.
The only two things between the fleur-de-lis on their boxes are Game of the Year from E3. It's so sad. Oh, you dumb game.
Before they.
Oh, it's
can
too
play
early
it.
for them to even get any awards this year.
Yeah. Well, they could have had, like, we got a 10 out of 10 from this website, but nobody's giving you a 10 out of 10. Let's talk about this image behind me. PlayStation 4 officially price dropped in the US this week.
Yeah. Emails came in like right at the turn of midnight.
Yeah, it came. Yeah. Very late last night on the Pacific Coast. That was crazy to me. Here's why: is because just 2 weeks ago on this show, there was a 1 terabyte Call of Duty bundle announced for $450, and I said, "Oh, well, I guess the price drop isn't happening." 2 weeks later, the price drop happened.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is the timing just feels really weird. It's like, why wait so long? Why stagger this out? Like, why didn't they just announce a worldwide price drop at the same time at TGS?
Is this one also a terabyte, or is it the standard?
This is
Okay,
standard, I
so
think.
yeah, standard now is $350. So you can get an Uncharted bundle for $350. The Call of Duty Black Ops one, all other price drops happen for $50. This one is only $20. For some reason, the Call of Duty Black Ops bundle from 2 weeks ago is now $430. So maybe so you don't feel as shafted. I don't know why.
Well, I mean,
because-
it's not their game, for one.
Yeah, okay. The limited edition Star Wars bundles, both for Battlefront and Disney
Oh.
Infinity, those are now $400, and then the regular Star Wars Battlefront bundle is $350.
The base model dropped to $430 in Canada.
Yeah, I did not look at those Canadian prices because they're so off the wall.
And the base model here is $350.
Here's what's crazy
Down
about
from
Canadian.
$4?
The Canadian
Yeah.
dollar is like in the tubes right now.
Right. When the PS4 launched, it was less expensive than it is right now in Canada. The Canadian price. Like the Canadian dollar has like shifted so
Yeah.
much.
Dollar sucks.
Yeah.
The dollar's really bad.
Why
What's
don't
going
they just
on? What's
use
going on in
America's
Canada?
money?
What's
the
happening
deal?
over there?
I don't know. We're coming up on an
They're
election.
a different country.
Yeah. Right,
That's
but-
what the deal is.
Europe's got the euro.
No way. You
North
get,
America should just have the dollar.
you get rid of those loonies, you get rid of everything Canada is.
Well, not everyone in Europe uses the euro.
Well, that's true, but a lot of them do.
Fact drops.
Yeah.
Um,
UK doesn't.
Yeah.
Stupid pounds. Ben, are you pumped on this? Was this the right time? Are you as confused as Bloodworth, or do you think this is genius strategy?
I mean, I think it's the right time. We're really getting to that Black Friday holiday. People are starting to Christmas shop now. Like it seems like a good time to me. And yeah, I am really excited. Like I've always been an early adopter. I always try to get the systems like as soon as I can. And so price drop news to me was always like, oh, that's cool. Like that's great. More people can play these systems, and that's awesome. But when I worked at a game store, it really changed my mind on how impactful price drops were.
Really?
We would have people come in all the time, and they would just say, you know, how much is, I mean, this was the time of the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and they would say, how much is an Xbox 360? And they're like, oh, I'll wait for a price cut. And the day, like the week, not the day, the week the price drop would happen on a 360 or PS3, we would honestly see a flood of people come in and pick it up.
That is crazy.
Because it also...
You worked there too. You worked at a game store too.
Yeah, and that's the exact same thing.
Yeah, and because the other thing that isn't talked about as much is it heavily affects used system prices as well. You know, so when they announce a price drop, you can get a used PS4 for probably a lot cheaper than you could anyway, and so you get even more people coming into GameStops or mom and pop shops or whatever it is. And like, yeah, it really opened my eyes. Like we would have systems sold out when a price drop would happen like that week, where other months, you know, we would be sitting with a full stock.
It affects
So-
trade-in prices too.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
like once those console prices go down, you're getting less and less.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the other crazy thing that, like, Sony's sales weren't necessarily slowing down. You know, PlayStation 4 was doing fine at 400.
Yeah, that's why I thought they might not do it.
Yeah, and so are we surprised at all that this happened, or is this just going to be Sony crushing Christmas?
Yeah,
The holiday season.
I think that's exactly what it is, and then they can make a really great press release after the holidays saying how much they sold, how much better they did.
So what's really interesting actually is PlayStation 4 lost to Xbox One in the US for 2 months or maybe more last year. Do you think that will happen again?
Considering how big those bundles are, like having Call of Duty and Battlefront, like that plus the price drop, it's going to be pretty tough to compete on those levels. I mean, Halo's going to be a huge deal, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, just from like the casual perspective of people picking up bundles, I think it's going to be a big difference.
I really do feel like, and this is just my gut, I really do feel like there's a lot riding on Halo. Because I think depending on how that is received, it will change the sort of the race this holiday season.
Sure.
I maybe this sounds crazy and maybe people disagree with me, but I feel like the Xbox One has been waiting for a Halo. For like, yes, you have Forza, yes, you have other exclusives, but Halo is just the most intrinsically Xbox thing that I think there is, and this is the first one on this console, and it sets a precedent. And I feel like there's this weird fear. You know, you had the Master Chief kerfluffle, and I Halo 4 was not really that well received in the long run, and there's so much riding on this. You know, like
Yeah.
I like how Halo is received in a weird way. I think kind of identifies the Xbox brand going forward. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Like, you're willing to put some money on the line? Who wins? Who wins in the U.S.?
It could be Xbox.
I
They
think,
have Tomb Raider.
it could still be Xbox.
Tomb
I
Raider
absolutely
and
do.
Halo.
I think they could still win. I think that even if they're priced the same, I don't know, there might be an Xbox price cut as well coming. Like, how would you have to
I
at
don't
this
know
point,
if they're
right?
gonna cut again.
Yeah.
Do you think the timed exclusive of Tomb Raider affects it in a way? Like, do you think there are enough people that are willing to wait
No.
that it won't be that big of a shift?
I do.
You
I do too.
Yeah.
Actually,
I see a lot of that comment. I mean, comments aren't the best gauge, but I think that there are a lot of people that, you know, if the choice is, do I buy an Xbox for Tomb Raider or do I wait until it's on a PS4 that I already have? They're just gonna wait for it to come on the PS4.
I mean, at least I think we almost saw you making that decision just a sec ago, where you said the DLC will probably come included on PS4.
Yeah, but I think I'm just gonna get it now
Yeah, why?
because I want to play it.
but
really
you
bad.
also have an Xbox
You
One
already
and a
have an
PS4.
Xbox, yeah.
I do.
That's the difference.
I
Yeah.
do. I don't think it would be a system. No, I don't think it would be a system seller.
I don't think
The
it's a
thing for
system
me is,
seller.
I actually think when you have a timed exclusive like this, the worst time to come out is the fall. Because I think what a lot of people say to themselves, like, oh, it sucks I can't play Tomb Raider, but there are all of these other things I can dig into. Like, all right, I'll just play Fallout 4 until Tomb Raider is out on my system of choice. Like, I think when you come out during the summer or like at the right time at spring where there's not as much, I think people are more likely to be like, oh, I really can't wait.
Yeah.
There's nothing for me to play right now, and then jump in.
I also think whatever strategy they had got derailed. Like, it's, to me, they probably did not intend to let anybody know, you know, it was actually going to come to other systems. But right away, people were like, this is Tomb Raider. Of course it's coming to other systems. And they badgered them until they admitted it and gave people a time frame. To whereas, you know, if they had somehow made it seem like it was only going to be on Xbox One, that would have made a big difference.
It would have been expensive, though, I think. I think it was part of the deal that Square Enix was able to announce, you know, that it will be on other systems. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, thanks for humoring me. I know that all of that won't matter until the actual numbers come in, but I always say, you know, I like talking about anything other than microtransactions, but we're going right back in. Here we go. Destiny adds microtransactions. For the first time, there's a new currency getting added called silver. And you can use real-life dollars. I think you can only use real-life dollars on silver. What silver does, it only works in one store inside of Destiny, and you can only use silver to buy emotes. That's it.
It might also be cosmetic items later.
Yeah.
It might be
I'm
later.
not sure on that.
No one is, and
The
I read through their
emotes
weird
are the main
things so many times. I think eventually it will expand to other stuff.
Yeah.
Emotes are the least offensive thing you can do up front.
Yeah, Ben. Yes, exactly.
Well, and also
yeah.
because everyone got pissed about the emotes for $20 if you buy the like super edition or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they're concocting their own story. Like, oh, you guys wanted emotes. Well, here now we're giving them. Like, I don't know. It.
Yeah, you wanted this.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I love this, and I think it's marvelous, and this is why. Because they're using this money to fund their, like, world events team or whatever. They have some name.
Live team.
Live team?
Yes.
And that means that team is going to be able to make more world events and more things like that and blah, 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 and, like, other content. And they also said that they're going to be dropping, like, bigger content for free.
Ian,
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Ben is laughing at how you ate it all up.
Like,
Right.
Activision
To me, it's
and
like-
Bungie are huge. They
Right.
have so much money. You're telling me they need.
No,
us
they
to
don't
produce-
need it.
But
They don't
like,
need it.
But that is such a weird spin to me that I just can't see any truth
Dude,
to it.
I don't care what the spin is, but if the next fucking Dark Below doesn't cost any money, this is the greatest thing ever. Because they're charging the rubes
Yeah, look at
$15
chumps.
for fucking emotes, and then everyone who actually like doesn't buy that gets free stuff. Like that's great.
Yeah,
That's
but I
phenomenal.
just don't like the spin of we're doing this for you guys. Like it's all going back. Like they have the.
Everybody
there's
spends
no way.
everything like that.
Yeah, but it's just
What if so?
buying into that is ridiculous. To
What
me.
if that's their spin, but then they actually use that money for that? Doesn't make it like they don't just say they're going to use that money for that and then don't, but then they actually say, okay, well, this budget allocates to this team.
That's how I read it. I didn't read it as spin. I read it as like we're gonna get an extra revenue source that we're gonna dedicate just to this team.
Yeah, do you think it's a reaction to something, though? Like that team didn't have enough money, didn't have enough resources? Like, to me, I feel like silver was always part of the plan. I feel like it's been a part of the plan for a long time, is my impression of it. And like Ben said, we're being introduced things piece by piece.
I mean, they knew that the leveling was shit, like, from the beginning, so...
Wait, what do you mean by that?
That's what they said. Like, Luke Smith or whatever said that they knew that the light leveling system, like stopping leveling at 20 and then doing light, they knew it didn't work very well back when they were putting out, like, their first couple of expansions, but they were just like, all right, but the way that the game is structured, we can't fix it until 2.0 when we change everything.
If only we were buying more silver.
Yeah.
Like, we could have done it sooner.
I think this is going to help Destiny. I think it could only be good for Destiny. Because it doesn't affect gameplay, and it's just more money that they could do and like make it cheaper for everyone else, make other stuff cheaper for everyone else.
I mean, it's just a promise right now. It's just a good idea. We'll have to wait to see how it actually plays out. Like maybe the stuff they introduced through this is substantial and meaningful and fun, or it could just be more like Crucible playlist or something. Like we don't know what it is.
Yeah,
we don't,
and I'm sure they'll mess it up.
And
like,
I think that's the thing is there's this sort of vagueness. Like here's the promise of more constant updates, but we don't really have any insight into what those will actually be.
Have they shown any of the emotes?
No, none of them have been detailed, but on October 13th, when everything goes live, they're going to give you enough silver to buy, quote, 1 or 2 emotes for free. So there you go. You get enough silver to buy 1 or 2 on your own. The first 2 are free.
They want you to have that feel, the
Yeah,
feel of the
yeah.
emote within your grasp.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get you hooked.
That is
It's so stupid.
is it stupid?
Yeah.
Why is it stupid?
Because we're 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
We don't need no emotes.
Yeah, we don't need emotes.
I'm gonna
kind of
buy
with
so many emotes.
I'm kind of with Ian though. Like I'm fine with letting dum-dums buy all of the emotes. I'm fine with letting them spend all the money they want on the most ornate armor in the world. I'm a little okay with that.
There is something though that like here's a little taste that is
It's funny.
it's funny.
Yeah.
I suffer from the
Yeah.
problem of I'm like, that's stupid. And then I'm like, I see it and I'm like, this is pretty good. This is pretty shiny.
I mean,
Yeah, I want that.
Did you just show us
So
your
you're-
bet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did. Sure.
So you're in for buying emotes.
No.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I've been a negative Nancy on this, but I totally agree with both you and Ian in the sense that if people want to buy emotes, like that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
If it doesn't affect how that game is structured or how it plays out, then there really is nothing to be angry about or nothing to be upset
Yeah,
about.
it's like when the lottery used to pay for like the public schools or whatever it used to do in California, which I didn't know about until recently.
And doesn't anymore?
I'm not sure, but like the lottery used to go to pay to like public works or whatever. So it literally is just idiot tax, and it's awesome. That's awesome. That's why like booze and cigarettes and drugs should just you just tax the shit out of them and pay for everything.
Get a little political.
Whatever. Charge idiots. and pay
Legalize
for
it
stuff.
all, tax it all.
I've also
Tax everything.
I've also
tax
been
bullets to hell.
I've come to a realization with things. I've been playing a lot more Destiny, and there are some people out there, like more than I expected, that only play Destiny. Like that is their game.
Yeah, absolutely.
They pride themselves on being the best in it. They pride themselves on having every exotic, and they sort of get wrapped up in this weird and kind of fascinating Destiny culture. And that's okay. Like if that's your thing, and you're like, you know what, I've been waiting for new emotes for forever. I don't think you have to feel bad about buying that stuff. You know, like you don't need to justify that to anyone.
Yeah.
Either. I sometimes I think there's a danger of saying all microtransactions are bad just because, and I think that attitude is just as dangerous. You know.
Gotta agree with that.
Yeah, I really feel it. I buy a lot of crap. So if you want those emotes, get them.
Yeah. I think just don't recognize you're doing a dumb thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Be
Right.
self-aware.
Be
Right.
self-aware about it.
Right.
That,
I mean,
that
it's
is the
like-
line I
Yeah.
want to draw.
The entire Valve business model is about hats.
Yeah, recognize when you buy a hat, you're being a
The
dum-dum right now, and
entire
enjoy
business
that.
model. They don't
Yeah.
make games anymore.
Yeah.
They make hats because people buy so much of them.
When I get concerned is
It's
when
insane.
the people who believe that they're investing in Destiny. Do you know what I mean? And,
Right.
and so if it ever becomes a time where it's just like, oh no, my silver's worthless, or I can't pick in my emote. Just like
Right.
it's always been dumb. Never treat it anything else.
No,
It would just-
you are you're like a slave to the people who aren't paying it. You're helping everyone else out.
Who is you?
The people buying things.
Oh, okay.
You're just helping everyone else.
They're always a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move through the next news stories. We're going to go through the rapid fire right here. This is something I'm very excited about. Sega is porting Sonic Lost World to PC, and then along with an announcement says more to come. That is pretty exciting. This game, previously exclusive, locked into the Wii U as part of the Sega Nintendo 3 Sonic game deal. 3 exclusive Sonic games, and here it is on PC. Apparently that time ran out for whatever that was. That's pretty exciting. Is it not? Just me. Okay, well,
That's
moving
super
on.
excited,
No, you
but-
said it's okay.
Wasn't that game bad?
Yes.
No,
Well, no.
not bad.
It was okay. It was weird.
All Stars Racing handles pretty well on the PC.
Yes.
It's a good game.
Yeah. Sega cares about PC.
I played Sonic 1, 2, and 3 before I ever played a Mario game.
Mhm.
Like, for my entire childhood, I treated Sonic 2 and 3 and Sonic and Knuckles like a religious experience. Like, I loved those
Me
games.
too,
I played
dude.
those games over and over and over again, and I thought they were incredible. Like, I loved those games so much that I, bought Sonic comic books and, Sonic plushies. Like, I was freaking out about Sonic as a kid.
I had a Sonic RC car. It was awesome.
When somebody says anything related to Sonic, I just feel nothing. No emotion is stirred. It is just a fucking. Can we swear on the show?
You absolutely
It's
can.
just a
yeah.
fucking corpse. Like nothing. I don't care if Sonic comes back and it's the most magical game ever. It's a 10 out of 10. Like Sonic has been so polluted for me that it dead forever, and it sucks. Like Sega fucked it up so bad, so bad. I don't think there's any other game series that's like this for me. None. Sega fucked it up so bad that no matter what, I will feel nothing. when
This
it
is their
comes to
chance
Sonic.
out. Ben, this is what I'm saying. This is their chance out.
No, but it's always another chance. Right? There's always another game, and it's always gonna be the one that fixes it, and it's just always
The
disappointing.
controls are always bad and weird.
You can only take the beating for so long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I just can't. No.
Okay, so we won't beat Ben anymore. Here's another story about microtransactions. Star Wars Battlefront will not have microtransactions. Can you believe
This is a story.
that?
This game will not have microtransactions. Let's make an article about
Well, what
this.
if they add them? What if they add them 6 months from now?
They said they won't. They said
they won't.
Well, at least it's so frustrating because it is like that. It's just like microtransactions are not part of the core game design. They're not going to happen. And it's like, wait, why are
Yeah,
you so
core
specific
game
about
design.
core game
Yeah.
design?
We made these microtransactions after the game came out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be buying sweet jackets for my Rebel, and it's
Right.
gonna be sick.
Not with real money,
With
Buster.
real money.
Not with
Yeah,
real money.
6 months from now.
It could happen 6 months from now, and they'll frame it as, well, you wanted more, so we're
Yeah.
giving you more.
It'll be a lighter brown than the previous brown.
They won't
in
have
Auburn.
They won't have
Yeah.
microtransactions
Burnt
because they're
sienna.
just gonna put out a bunch of character DLCs.
Thanks to the passion-
$1 each.
Maybe that's it. I mean, that might count as micros. I'm not
dude.
sure.
Boba
No,
Fett,
I think what they meant-
$2.99.
But
Boba Fett is free.
what they're referencing in terms of that, I mean, is the currency. This currency
Warwick
versus
Davis.
that currency. Yeah.
Right, yeah, because the game has two currencies. It actually is kind of weird in how it does that.
Remind me to create a character for mandatory update named Patch Adams.
Okay.
Don't let me forget about that.
I want a Warwick Davis DLC.
So I'm
for
sorry,
this game.
Patch Adams, is he like, he's a doctor?
He's a doctor, game doctor.
Mm-hmm. Does he
And,
have a red nose?
He does,
Okay.
but it's like pixelated.
There we go.
And yeah, he like
there's the
Only
spin.
part of his body
like,
is pixelated.
yeah, Patch
'cause
Adams.
he's a patch.
You're upset. You're having problems with your game. Patch Adams is going to come in. He's going to make it better.
See, the issue I have with this character is that it's literally just the same name as Patch Adams.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Patch Adams is like, it's a movie about forgiveness. You know, that guy is mentally ill and kills his girlfriend, and
Never
like
saw it.
I still can't get over it. You know what
Wait,
I mean?
who kills his girlfriend?
One of like the mentally ill people that Patch Adams is trying to help,
Oh,
and just like it's so hard for me to like forgive that guy.
because he killed his girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
that's a real tough
That's
one.
a real toughie. Robin Williams dead as hell, by the way.
Moving on, Tony
Wow.
Hawk 5 will have free DLC. This is Activision's apology to everyone who's upset with how it is at launch. I love this photograph. Look at Tony. He's screaming as he just comes into the flames. He's like,
Don't make me do this.
it's funny. I asked for Screaming Tony Hawk. In the first episode, we talked about Tony Hawk 5. I was like, what if he was screaming in the screenshots? There it is.
What's funny is that the flames don't burn you in the game, and
Yeah.
so he wants to end it, but he can't. And this is his struggle. Like he's just like, no, let me die.
He's got an idea for a video game
Go ahead.
where it's a skateboarding game and you hate it and you want to die, but you can't get out.
Yeah, it's
Skate.
cool.
It's called Skate or Die.
It's called Skate, but Don't Die. Skate and Please Let Me Die.
Anyway, for anyone who did buy this game, you're getting 2 additional stages and 5 new characters. Details end there. We don't know when they're coming. We don't know who they are and what they are, but it's coming. Free DLC.
Then
I
the
hope one
license
of
runs
them-
out, and
Yeah, exactly.
I hope one of the characters is Warwick Davis.
We're moving on to, well, you're the one who started this conversation. This one comes to us from WTF Oliver. Conversation. Hello, GT Time. The Musou Warrior games are some of my favorite games of all time. I think this is mostly because of how easy and ridiculous they are. Kind of view them as a stress ball, something that is fun and easy to play when you've had a long day. So my question is, what are the panel's favorite stress ball games of choice? Thanks in advance. Games that are just totally dumb, and you're willing to accept that. This is my stress ball. Tetris for me.
Dark
Just
Souls.
Lining up blocks and destroying the blocks feels so good. Dark Souls is your stress ball game?
After you've beaten a Souls game and you like know the ropes and you're really good at it, you can go in and just destroy and it feels so good.
So at this point, Dark Souls is a
Right,
stress
like
ball
right
game
now
for
I
you.
jump into Bloodborne to relax.
Just to wreck.
But it doesn't start
Okay.
that way.
No, it doesn't
Yeah,
start that.
that's
No,
interesting.
because you've earned it.
Yeah. That
It's
is actually
even
interesting.
better.
Do we have any stress ball games?
I've got one.
Yeah.
Earth Defense Force is the most relaxing
Nice,
game I've ever played.
Yes.
Uh,
What is that game? What is Earth Defense Force?
It's the simplest thing. You are in space. You are a space soldier. Giant bugs invade. Kill the giant bugs. And it's so easy. Like you just get the most ridiculous weapons, and you just see the spiders jumping at you, and you're just like, not today. And you just stand. You don't even have to move. You can just stand there and shoot those rockets.
Not today.
It's really great.
Blood. Yeah.
Highly recommended.
You got a stress ball game?
I don't know if it quite fits the parameters, but yeah, I like Picross.
Good choice.
Even I even have the Game Boy one on my 3DS.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, just so it's like something I can just pop out. You know, when I am stuck somewhere or on a plane or something. Just that's kind of my go-to is Picross.
Destroying and creating at the same time. Elise.
I guess the Katamari games. Because
That's a good
there's no
stress ball
real
game.
stakes in those.
Yeah.
The music's wonderful. Like if you're in a bad mood and you put that on, you're gonna feel better. And especially like We Love Katamari, the second one for the PS2. Like some of those levels are really zen. In that one, like the flower level, where you're just collecting petals, like and assembling your flower Katamari is pretty great. Though like sometimes if I'm like okay, like I like sometimes lately, like the last like 2 months or since it came on the PS4, I just have, like pop on Shovel Knight sometimes.
Whoa.
But it's a hard game.
Yeah.
But sometimes if I'm like frustrated, doing something that you're working out in your aggression in actually sort of relieves some of like that tension that you have.
That's cool.
So I'll just jump into that, and then eventually I'll give up because I'm not very good at it.
But we get to work out some aggression in that world in the meantime.
And being able, like, if you don't want to express your like, if you're upset about something and you don't want to upset or kind of like express what you're upset about, but you can play Shovel Knight and you can shout at the screen. Sometimes being able to shout at a screen instead of shouting at someone or something is a lot easier.
I definitely shout at the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting a little bit too deep here, but do you ever feel like there are certain things in life that you just can't solve for whatever reason? Like life is conspiring against you, and just based on outside forces, you cannot fix this real world problem, but man, I can kill that blood-starved beast.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And like it feels good being able to challenge something hard in a video game because you can do it, where sometimes in real life you can't.
Absolutely.
I was also thinking, well, Proteus is another really good game like this, but I was thinking like any game, I think a lot of it depends on your mindset too. Like anytime you're not trying to achieve anything, like there's no pressure to achieve anything, a lot of games can have, like Destiny or Shovel Knight or Rogue Legacy or Bloodborne. Like if you go in and you're like, man, no pressure, I don't have to do anything, I don't have to beat anything or get anywhere, then it's really relaxing because you're just chill.
Rogue Knight's a good one. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for the question. That was really interesting. We got to talk about some interesting games that we don't normally talk about. It is, however, time for bets. Let's get serious. Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Trees Woe, and The Blight Below will release on Tuesday. Talking about Muso games. Dragon Quest, let's be real, is having a hard time anywhere outside of Japan. Huge in Japan. Enormous. Never quite takes off in the U.S. Case in point.
I think it's funny that I have another case in point that, like, I've never heard the title of this game spoken without someone laughing directly after.
Because I always think it's like or no, what the hell's that band called? The Love Below?
That's Outcast.
Outcast.
It's because the subtitles are completely unnecessary, and it's not even part of the logo. They just like stuck some words on the bottom of it, on the box.
The
Man,
Blight
it's
Below.
just dumb.
No, it's a sick title. What is
speaker
wrong
box
with all
of
you?
the-
Dragon Quest Heroes is fine. It's all you need.
It rhymes.
I really like it. I freaking, well, yeah, I guess this is the issue. They need help. Anyway, at Dragon Quest, the official Dragon Quest Twitter account right now has 2,515 followers on Twitter. Question is, to the panel, how many followers will this account have at this point next week? I'm going to add something too. If you want to bet whether they'll be verified or not next week.
I don't think I'll bet on that.
All right.
That's funny. I was trying to figure out when they started that account, but I didn't see it.
It seems kind of recent. They haven't tweeted that much. I think they were up to only like 100-something tweets.
Okay, real quick, the verification process is so weird to me. Like, how does that even come
Twitter
about?
decides to verify you.
Yeah.
You're just like chosen.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
It's
that's
very
crazy.
special.
It's
and
like
then
actually random.
you'll see some people who are very bitter about it that they haven't been verified yet.
Or like people that will like judge other people because you're not even verified.
Yeah.
It's like not up to me.
Yeah. Don't mind it. Don't mind being unverified. I hope I'm unverified for life. It feels
Unlicensed, unverified.
Yeah.
Unofficial.
It's the Dragon Quest Heroes account?
Nice. So that's actually
Dragon Quest.
It's called Dragon Quest
That's
Heroes
just
right
at-
now.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's at Dragon Quest. Are you making an adjustment?
I'm just looking at it.
You are the first to reveal your bet.
She already did.
2,900.
2,900. Daniel Bloodworth.
I'm going with 2,700. My methodology for this was I looked at when Kyle sent his email, and I looked at the amount it had when I read the email this morning, and it looked like it was going at about one person per hour.
One person per one follower per hour. Okay. We'll see if that rate can continue. Ben, what is your bet?
My bet is 3,000, but I have a plan.
What's your plan?
Yeah, so I'm reviewing Dragon Quest Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the review, I'm going to say, go follow this account so
No,
I
you
can
can't.
win the GT time bet.
Can't do that.
And then I'm hoping that, I'll get a little boost from that.
I'm going to recommend you don't do that because my bet is 5,002.
Wow.
Yeah.
You lost.
I think I could maybe get 500 from doing that. Not 2,500.
Let me lock that in. But my reasoning, everybody, is that I don't know. I think they'll do some contest or something, like retweet this to win free copies of the game. The game's not out. They really start pushing once the game's out. I think it could explode.
I like that optimism.
I'll take the bet that they'll be verified at this point next week. Wow, okay, chills. Okay, nobody's following up on that. Okay. All right, I have faith in you, Dragon Quest. You can do it. You can come into this country and you can take it. It's yours.
I want to fix Dragon Quest marketing.
How would you fix Dragon Quest marketing? Oh, did we go to Bizarro, Kyle?
Just now.
Oh, okay. How would we fix Dragon Quest marketing?
Okay, this is my idea.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to tell me why I'm wrong or that this has already happened and failed. Because to my knowledge, this has not already happened and failed. But we see entire Kickstarters get millions and millions of dollars. And all they do is they appeal to nostalgia. They appeal to this sort of retro idealism.
Yeah.
And I honestly think, I don't even think Square Enix was really responsible for this. It just kind of got picked up, and this was the message behind it. But like that's why Bravely Default succeeded. You saw so many headlines like the best Final Fantasy game in years, or like this idea that this game is capturing something that the series lost.
Okay.
And that's what Dragon Quest needs to appeal to, because it's a very traditional, very like classic style role-playing game, and I think they need to be proud of that. I think they need to own that. I think they need to get here and say like, hey, remember all those games that you played as a kid? Well, if you haven't played Dragon Quest, it's just like that and maybe even better. Like, that's the appeal that I think you make for Dragon Quest that I haven't seen. Like, you don't try to make Dragon Quest seem modern or new or flashy, or you don't focus on the slimes too heavily necessarily, even though slimes are the greatest thing in the world. You say, we can give you something that your heart is missing.
It is really funny, Ben, because like that is in Japan. That's obviously how you would use nostalgia, but
right.
here you
it's
can't.
very much. It's
hard
very
to,
nostalgia focused.
Yeah.
Unless the Bravely Default Final Fantasy example, unless you compare it specifically to another game.
But I think you could. I think you could
Yeah.
compare it favorably to Final Fantasy or whatever you want, like any turn-based JRPG. And you're right, there isn't that nostalgia for Dragon Quest in America for very many people, but it's Square Enix. Like, leverage that Final Fantasy comparison. I don't know. Is that crazy? Am I off base here?
But we're talking about Heroes, right?
We're talking about Heroes, but like eventually we're going to be talking about Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah.
I mean, Heroes ain't gonna do it.
Right.
Heroes
exactly.
is dead in the water in America, but yeah, 11 is amazing looking.
So is Dragon Quest Heroes.
Yeah, but people don't like those games. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Booster games are way
Dang,
more popular in the
dang,
West than you think
but,
they are.
yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, Dragon Quest is weird because it is, it definitely has that nostalgia factor going on for it. But I feel like, probably for the most part, the most well known is just the first one, because so many people got it with Nintendo Power and all that kind of thing. I don't think that many people played 2 or 3, or certainly not 4, because the Super Nintendo was already out then.
Yeah.
And then 7 and 8 both kind of came out under the radar. 8 was probably the best marketed.
In
But,
my
yeah.
experience, the Dragon Quest games, everybody's got a friend who played them. Like I've always had like that guy who played them, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, they're great." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Hard to get into. It's a job. It's definitely a task to get people into it, but I believe it can happen. I'm optimistic about
They're
that.
all on
want
like
it so
iOS
bad.
now, right?
Look at this. We snuck some games talk into our stupid bets. They are, and I think most of them are on iOS.
I don't think you want to play them that way, do you?
It's a way to play
the
them, at
2D.
least.
The 2D ones are totally fine on iOS. Playing Dragon Quest 8 on iOS is a nightmare. No, don't do it that way.
Go get yourself a PS2. Let's talk about last week's bet. It's about Transformers Devastation, which came out on Tuesday. At this point of the week, what will the percentage of the trophy be for completing the game as Grimlock on PS4? I bet 5.5%. Brad in the Super Seat bet 7%. Bloodworth bet 18%, and Jones bet 4%. He then added that if he wins, he loses his lightning bolt. If he loses, he gets another lightning bolt.
Oh.
He just said, I'm not going to win this one. And then he said, I'll put my lightning bolt at stake. The thing is, the trophy percentage for the Grimlock completion trophy is 0.1%.
Whoa.
That means that Jones won,
Wow.
but we're taking away his lightning bolt.
Every time he thinks he gets it, he doesn't. And every time he's sure he won't, he wins.
And here's the thing, Huber explained this to me, is that to get this trophy, you actually have to play through every chapter as Grimlock, because you can actually switch characters in between levels.
And if you switch, you're not eligible for the trophy.
You're not
even
eligible-
if you finish
yeah.
the game. Okay.
Yeah, how crazy is that? So the most popular one is 2.4% for Optimus Prime. That's insane.
So wait, these trophies are basically just like, nah, don't experience the other characters at all.
Kind of. I think the intent is play through all of the
multiple
game
times,
because it is relatively short. As we predicted, but we did not predict it would be that low. So the current score, it is now Super Seat 12, Bloodworth 14, Jones 6, but with no lightning bolt, me at 9. So Ben, we've added some things onto this.
Okay.
Not only do you have the rights and responsibility to say only your Twitter handle, you get the last word. Anything that you disagreed with that we talked about today, you get to say, no, this is the actual truth. You get to promote any video on the website that you want, and you get to do your trademark sign-off. Oh, before I do hand off the show to you, I do want to say we are back on iTunes.
Good.
We made it. We're back on iTunes. You can subscribe on iTunes. We are just there. Just search for GT
All
Time.
the people that haven't been able to listen to us have already found out.
Yeah, but I don't know. If you're watching this, now you know, as a viewer, that you can subscribe to this show on iTunes. Please do that. Just go ahead and do that. I think we're on some other services too. I'm not positive how many other RSS feeds we filter into, but I do know we are at least on iTunes.
Another thought occurred to me. I think Jones wins bets, and on the episode wherein he wins, he's always gone.
Yeah, it is
never
sad
gets
he
the
can't
glory.
appreciate this. Yeah.
He never gets the glory.
Do I also sign off?
Yes, with your trademark sign-off. So yeah, and we're now handing off the show to you officially, Ben.
Okay, I am Ben Moore. You can follow me on Twitter at BenMoore035. The absolute truth that I want to say is if we were to compare Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, as much as I love both, Ninja Turtles is superior. It's got more personality. It's got that tood. You know, sometimes I just crave that tood, and it's got it. Also, the video I would like to promote, Daniel Bloodworth put in a lot of effort and time into a Deus Ex Mankind Divided preview. He called it a mega preview. The title is appropriate. You should go check it out. It's on the site right now and on YouTube.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
I've
welcome.
watched the site version though. It's been updated.
Thank you for that clarification. And, as always, pay to win.
I love.